Be still for a moment. Not because you have answers, but because you've been carrying questions for too long. I know there were nights you whispered my name and felt nothing in return. No peace, no clarity, no sign. And you wondered, did God stop listening? But listen to me now. Silence is not absence. Silence is focus. When I went quiet, it wasn't because I turned away. It was because I was standing between you and what would have destroyed you. You didn't see what I blocked. You didn't hear the conversations I stopped. You didn't know the paths I closed quietly while you were asking why nothing was opening. There were moments you almost went back to what hurt you. You almost settled for what was familiar instead of what was right. And every time I stepped in, not loudly, but firmly, you thought delays meant rejection, but delays meant protection. Some doors stayed closed because if they opened, you would have entered too early and left broken. Some prayers felt unanswered because the answer would have come before you were ready to hold it. You wanted relief. I wanted longevity. You wanted escape. I wanted stability. So I slowed you down. I let the silence teach you discernment. I let the waiting build strength. I let the loneliness push you closer to your true self. And during that silence, you changed. You stopped chasing. You stopped begging. You stopped explaining yourself to people who never tried to understand you. That wasn't bitterness. That was growth. You began trusting your intuition again. You began choosing peace over approval. You began walking away earlier instead of staying too long. That's when I knew you were ready. Because what's coming next will not survive desperation. It requires clarity, boundaries, patience. And now, things are shifting. Not all at once, not dramatically, but steadily. You'll notice it in small ways first. Your mind feels calmer. Your heart feels lighter. Your reactions feel slower. You're not afraid of endings anymore. You're not clinging to what leaves. You're not chasing what resists you. That's because you finally trust me, even when I'm quiet. And soon, you won't ask why I was silent. You'll say, "Thank you for saving me when I didn't know I needed it." What's coming will arrive peacefully. It won't rush you. It won't confuse you. It won't require you to abandon yourself. It will feel safe. And when it does, you'll understand. I never left. I never ignored you. I never forgot you. I was guarding your future while you were questioning the present. Stay close. The silence is breaking, and clarity is coming with it. Slow down for a moment. Breathe. There are things I need to explain to you now. Things you couldn't understand back then, because pain makes vision narrow, and fear makes memory selective. I know you still look back sometimes, at the moment it didn't work, at the conversation that ended too soon, at the door that never opened. And quietly you wonder, what if that was my chance? What if I lost something meant for me? Listen carefully. If you had seen what I saw, you would not wish that season back. You only saw the surface, the promise, the comfort, the hope of relief. But I saw the weight it would place on you. I saw the slow erosion of your peace, the compromises you would justify, the exhaustion you would normalize. I saw how you would begin questioning yourself more than trusting yourself. You would wake up tired, even on days you rested. You would smile, but feel hollow underneath. And you would tell yourself, this is just how life is. But that was never the life I planned for you. You think I saved you from a moment. I saved you from years. Years of trying to earn what should have been freely given. Years of shrinking so things wouldn't fall apart. Years of carrying responsibility that wasn't yours. You don't know how close you were to accepting less than you deserved just to avoid starting over. And starting over scared you more than staying uncomfortable. So I intervened. Not loudly, not dramatically, quietly. I slowed things down. I removed momentum. I let confusion surface. Because sometimes clarity only comes when motion stops. You thought my silence was distance, but silence was the only way to get your attention without overwhelming you. If I had shouted, you would have resisted. If I had forced you, you would have doubted. So I waited. And while you waited, your spirit began to speak. You felt it in small ways at first. The hesitation you couldn't explain. The excitement that faded too quickly. The peace that never fully arrived. You tried to ignore it. You told yourself you were overthinking. You blamed fear. You blamed timing. But it wasn't fear. It was discernment waking up. And discernment is uncomfortable when you've spent years surviving instead of listening. I know you tried harder. You prayed differently. You gave more. You became quieter, more patient, more flexible. You thought sacrifice would fix it. But sacrifice cannot repair what was never meant to last. Love cannot repair what was never meant to last. Effort cannot stabilize what has no foundation. And I could not let you destroy yourself trying to save something I never asked you to carry. That's why I let it end before it consumed you. That's why the answer didn't come when you were ready, because you were ready for relief, not for truth. And truth changes everything. You would have stayed loyal to something that could not be loyal to you. You would have kept believing that endurance was faith. But endurance without peace is not faith, it's survival. And you have survived long enough. I know the ending hurt, not because it was sudden, but because it forced you to feel what you'd been suppressing. The grief wasn't just about what ended. It was about realizing how much of yourself you gave away, hoping it would work. That realization hurt deeply. You questioned your judgment, your worth, your ability to choose well. But hear this now. Your heart was not wrong. Your timing was not wrong. Your desire was not wrong. You were just growing while something else stayed the same. And growth creates distance. That distance was painful, but necessary. Because had you stayed, you would have slowly forgotten who you were becoming. You would have mistaken numbness for peace, routine for safety, familiarity for love. And I love you too much to let you settle into a life that requires constant self-betrayal. So I blocked it. Not because you didn't deserve it, but because you deserved better. I know it feels unfair that you had to lose something to be protected. But protection often looks like loss before it looks like relief. No one thanks a closed door until they see what was behind it. And one day, you will. You will look back with a clarity that feels almost shocking. You'll see the patterns, the warning signs, the ways your peace was slipping away. And instead of grief, you'll feel gratitude. Not because it didn't hurt, but because it didn't last. You are not weak for missing it. Missing something doesn't mean it was good for you. It means you invested your heart. And that capacity to love deeply,
That stayed with you. I didn't remove your ability to love. I refined it. Now you notice earlier. You listen sooner. You leave before resentment grows. That's wisdom. That's healing. That's growth you couldn't gain any other way. And now you are standing in a clearer space. Not perfect, not finished, but honest. You're no longer forcing alignment. You're no longer convincing yourself that discomfort is normal. You're learning to trust that what is meant for you will not require you to suffer to sustain it. That's the shift. And what comes next will feel different. Not chaotic, not urgent, not heavy. It will feel calm. And that calm will scare you at first, because peace is unfamiliar when you're used to fighting. But stay with me.
Come closer now. Not because something is wrong, but because something is finally ready. You have walked through loss. You have endured silence. You have released what you did not want to let go of. And now you are standing in a place that feels unfamiliar. Not painful, not joyful, just quiet. That quiet is important, because this is the space where old patterns lose their power and new ones are born. I need you to understand something clearly. What is coming into your life next will not feel like what you've known before. Not because it's smaller, but because you are different. Before, you were drawn to intensity, to urgency, to things that made your heart race because chaos felt like proof of meaning. You mistook anxiety for passion, struggle for depth, endurance for love. That wasn't your fault. You were doing the best you could with the awareness you had. But now, your awareness has expanded, and what used to excite you no longer satisfies you. You crave peace now, consistency, clarity, and that craving is not weakness, it is maturity. What's coming will not make you feel on edge. It will not keep you guessing. It will not require you to prove your worth. You won't feel the need to perform, overgive, or disappear to keep it. It will meet you where you are. You will recognize it not by the intensity it creates, but by the calm it brings. This calm may confuse you at first. You might wonder, why doesn't this feel overwhelming? Why am I not anxious? Why does this feel so steady? Because safety feels boring to a nervous system that learned to survive. But boring is not wrong. Boring is peaceful, and peace is where growth lasts. You will notice the difference in how you show up. You won't rush to attach. You won't chase clarity. You won't abandon yourself to keep something alive. You will be present, and presence changes everything. You will also notice that what's coming will respect your boundaries, not tolerate them, honor them. You won't have to explain yourself repeatedly. You won't have to fight to be understood. You won't feel guilty for needing space or time. What's aligned doesn't resist your healing, it supports it. This is why things had to fall apart before. You were not ready to receive something healthy while you were still willing to settle. You were not ready to hold peace while chaos felt familiar. You were not ready to choose consistency while intensity felt meaningful. So I let you outgrow the old ways, slowly, painfully, honestly. And now you are ready. What's coming will not trigger your wounds. It will highlight your growth. It will not mirror your past. It will contrast it. You'll look back and think, how did I ever accept less than this? And you won't feel shame. You'll feel gratitude. Gratitude that you learned. Gratitude that you listened. Gratitude that you didn't go back. Because you were tempted to. There were moments you almost returned to what I pulled you from. Moments you missed familiarity. Moments loneliness felt heavier than wisdom. But you stayed, and staying changed you. You are no longer afraid of being alone. You are afraid of being misaligned. That's a powerful shift. It means you will no longer choose something just because it chooses you. You will choose what nourishes you. And that discernment is what protects what's coming. Because what's coming will require you to stay honest with yourself. Not vigilant, not guarded, just honest. You will no longer confuse love with sacrifice. You will understand that love can be gentle, that growth can be calm, that blessings don't need to hurt. This next season will teach you something new, that ease does not mean laziness, that rest does not mean stagnation, that peace does not mean the absence of purpose. It means alignment. And alignment multiplies everything. Your energy will stabilize, your emotions will regulate, your confidence will root itself quietly. You will stop questioning every decision, not because life is perfect, but because you trust yourself now. You trust your discernment, you trust your timing, you trust the feeling of peace more than the rush of desire. That trust is what makes this season different. You are no longer asking, is this going to last? You are asking, does this honor who I've become? And if the answer is no, you will walk away without drama. Not because you are cold, but because you are clear. This clarity will guide you into connections, opportunities, and moments that feel sustainable. Not exciting for a moment, but nourishing for a lifetime. You are stepping into a life that does not require survival mode, a life that does not demand constant effort just to remain standing, a life where peace is not a reward, but the foundation. This is why it had to end the way it did. This is why the silence lasted. This is why the loss reshaped you. You were not being punished. You were being prepared for something that could finally last. And now, you are ready to receive it without sabotaging it. Rest in that.